sale, some couldn't find a dime. Manners take it through the world, be patient, take your time. Mountain is a problem when the apes still they climb. When you're in the valley, mountain top on your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself, from the divine. Clothes that you wear don't represent your mind. Life you live will speak for you, speak for you, speak for you. Life that you live will speak for you. Be careful what you say or do.
Yes, family, good day one and all. What we doing? Yeah man, welcome to the channel. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel so you can get our notifications whenever we do new videos. Man, today we're gonna be sewing a scrub hat. It's a scrub hat with a Mac peak, a band, and it's a one ply, so it has no insulation on the inside, so it's very lightweight, keep your head cool, and you know, just overall just look good. Alright, and we're gonna also sew this mask, the matching mask that goes with it. It's simple, it can be worn on both sides, it's reversible, and a strap. And on this hat, we're gonna attach buttons to the side. So the mask will go on the button instead of going behind the ears. So you can wear it much longer, it's more comfortable, and it will not squeeze or irritate the back of the ear. So here we are today, we're gonna dive right into it. So as you can see, we have here a Boufant hat. It has a matte peak. So this peak is gonna be cut separate. It's gonna be a separate piece, and it also gonna have its own interface. So for the interface, we're gonna cut the interface from this material, which is a thicker material that holds the interface, bind it together much more firmer than a softer interface. I already have my pattern that I use. I use this pattern over and over. You can see it's ripped, so I tape it back together. So I already have the pattern. This pattern will give me the top of the hat and also the side of the hat. So these I'm gonna cut once from this all together. Then I will cut the circle as I go along. I have my pattern for my mask. I will cut my mask from this pattern, and then so I'll cut both the inner and the out same size, and then I'll form them and stitch them together one time. So all my patterns is already here that I need. The side will be my sides will be, I'll cut my side to 3. Then that will give me both allowance for the top and the bottom. So I'll take a 1/2 inch allowance off, and I end up with a 2.5 rim for the side, and that's it. There's no lining on the inside, because this hat is so it won't be hot when you're wearing it. There's no lining on the inside, but the inside will be serged together to give you a finish look. And that's it for the Boufant hat. So we're gonna move forward slowly. We're gonna go and we're gonna cut our patterns. So we're gonna move forward slowly and working and cutting our patterns for this Boufant hat mask combo. Yeah, my Morgan. Have something to drink, relax, and enjoy the video. Yes, everyone, welcome back. Here, Morgan, here. So here you can see we have our fabric. Nice fabric. I love this fabric. I got this fabric from Joann's Fabric, and over here in Pembroke Pines, Florida, and beautiful store. I love shopping at that store because people are very helpful, and they're knowledgeable of the fabric that they're selling. So, and the thing about it is, if you're gonna buy something, they will take the time out to ask you what are you going to make with it. So they're making sure that you get the best fabric for your project, and that's why I love going to Joann's Fabric. I also shop on Joann's Fabric up there in Ocala, off State Road 200, College Road, beautiful store. I mean, the people, they take care of you and they'll hook you up and they'll make sure that you're getting the right fabric for your project. That's most important, because you know, a lot of us, we starting out, we don't know the fabric, we just do projects and we just feel like fabric is fabric. And to do this, I've done this design a lot of times, so I'm comfortable with it, so I can buy, good grade fabric for my project. I don't have to go and buy the cheap fabric. But to start out, to test the water and to practice this, it's best to buy a cheaper fabric to get this project going. Yeah, so we're gonna dive right into pinning this up and cutting it up. You see, I have my pin cushion. I made this when I first started out, I made this pin cushion, some fabric on the inside and stitch another fabric out. Alright, so with this I just do 2 pins. But when you're starting out, it's best if you go along and do the 4 pins so you can get the fabric really one shot deal. Bam, bam, bam. So as you can see, I now have the fabric pinned, so I'll just go ahead and I'll cut. Keep your scissors separate. Alright, this scissors is only used for cutting fabric. I don't use this scissors to cut paper or anything like that. Try to keep your fabric where you have as less waste as possible, and you just cut along the outer edge. So you just cut along the outer edge and get your top and your side one shot. Try to keep your circle as best as you can. You don't have to worry about this white edge because that's going to be inside and that's going to be behind your stitch line. Alright, so what I'll do is I remove the pin and I separate the hand. So now you see I have my top, so I move my top and I have my side. The side, that's the part that you're going to cut so that you have the head is gonna be able to go over the head. Alright, so you cut it, you fold it along the line. And what you're gonna do is this, I'm gonna make a large head, a large hat. So what I do is I measure 3 1/4. 3 1/4, I mark. 3 1/4 in the center, mark. 3 1/4 on the next side, and I mark. Alright, and then from that, I'm going to join everything together. And I got my circle. Then I cut. Then from this, I get my beautiful circle for my head. Alright? Then I would lay the top face up, and then I'll match both sides together. This is a Boufant, so I don't really go through with like notching too much because it's gonna be a circle stitch around. So here we have the top and the bottom together, all pinned nicely. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a 1/2 inch stitching along the edge, nice and round as you can get it. So we're gonna put this aside, and then we're gonna work on the brim and the rim of the hat. So we're gonna go against the salvage line again. We're gonna pin. When you start, you can pin as much as you want. You know, you can do 3 pins. I'm gonna do 3 pins, so I get the middle up. And be careful with the pins if you're not using a timbo. When you first started out, it's best to use a timbo. You know, yeah, that way you don't pin your finger to the fabric. Yeah, and then you just simply cut along. For me, I know this brim is a little it's a little big. So how I get this brim, I measure 3 1/4 on the material, and then I measure a length of 12, and then I fold it in half like that, and go from the 4 and just make a slight curve to the 3 1/2, and then once I cut that out, I have this shape, and that's how I get my brim. So the brim, I simply, okay, what I did with my brims, I keep the 2 matching sides together. 2 matching sides together, 2 outsides together. Alright, and then that way I don't make no mistake with it. I pin it together, I put it aside. Then I cut from the interface, pin it just the same. Like I said, for safety, please use your timbo. And like I said, I don't use my other scissors for cutting paper. That's just my class scissors. Keep your scissors sharper for longer. Try to keep your circle as best as you can. And you try to do all your cuttings and all your tacking so that once, you know, when you go on the machine, you're just sewing, you know. Cut and tack so that when you go on the machine, all you're doing is just sewing. You don't want to be back and forth, cutting, tacking, sewing back and forth. That's, you know, you waste time and energy like that. So you just make all your cuts, all your tack, and then you move to the machine when you move to your sewing machine. Alright, so you want to put your interface on the top of the fabric. So that when you stitch, you just make one flip. So top and interface is done. Alright, so now that we have our brim with the interface and we have the top and side, we're going to move on to cutting the sides, the rim for the sides. We try to keep our material, you know, where we don't waste too much fabric. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to get a straight line from here on. So where I can leave much allowance where I'm not wasting fabric. And the most thing you try to do is not to waste fabric, because fabric is a little bit on the expensive side. Alright, for this hat I'm gonna cut, I need the sides to be, you know, you can pretty much measure your head. to get a large hat. I'm a large, all right, so I know I have a 23, so I'm gonna cut 25. All right, that will give me my allowance on both sides and bring me back down to 23. So I need a length of yeah, my workspace is a little bit small, so I need 25. All right, so I measure 25. All right, then I need 3.5. Actually 3. I need 3, half and half, and that will give me 2. Put me back down to 2. So you measure 3 along the line. You know, I cut on the fold, so one less stitch. But you can also, if you don't really necessarily have to cut on the hole and the fold, but then you're gonna have to stitch twice. So now that I have everything laid out and marked out, 25, 3. So what we're gonna do, I get my other scissors, like I said. The scissors is only for cutting fabric, and I'm gonna cut straight down the line. You be as careful as possible because you don't want to waste fabric. So you make your notches nice and neat so you don't go over too much. All right. So here is the side. I put it aside. And like I said, we're not using any interface on the sides or the top. We need it to be nice and soft and pliable. We're only using interface on the brim of this hat. All right, so we're gonna move forward with cutting the mask. I'm only gonna cut one mask, so I'm just gonna use one side of that fabric, and I'm gonna fold it back so that I cover what the mask is gonna take. All right, this one is a little bit too it's not big enough to give me the mask, and I don't want to have a stitch line in the middle because that does not give me that curvature that I like for my mask. All right, so what I do is for this is I square this up so that I get rid of these edges. So I just go ahead and square this up. So when I store this fabric, I have this fabric nice. All right. So I go into my stack, and instead of cutting from this, I find a piece that I used before, which is nice, beautiful. All right, so it's always good to keep your keep your scraps in a safe, good place where you can always find it. So that's why I have this pile over here. You know, when I finish with projects, I normally, you know, go through and clean up so that I have my work table where it's easier to work on. But as you can see, it's a very small table. I'm expanded yet, you know. Yeah. So you try to get a nice pattern from the fabric in your mask, where your mask can, you know, have some life to it. You don't want to cut too much into the pattern where normally I don't cut the edges. I leave the edges on. I just make 3 cuts down the side. This mask can fit from a medium to a large. A smaller face, I have another pattern that I use for smaller face. So I cut like this. I fold. I flip it on the outside like that. So you can pretty much cut on the outside if you want. You know, I cut on the good side, but you can cut on the raw side if you want. I pin it, then I know my stitch is gonna be here, so I mark it, and my stitch is gonna be here, so I mark it, and this will be my stitch line for the face, and my stitch line for the outer sides will be here. So I put that away. All right. So for my I use this fabric for my my inside. This is it's lightweight, and when it goes with this, it's very soft and it's still lightweight. So your mask is not heavy and it's not bulky and it's not hard to breathe through. Keep it simple, you know? Follow the curvature of the pattern, and you just cut straight across. All right, and again, mark, stitching line. So now we can see, so now we have everything cut. We have the liner for the mask pattern, side, brim, top, and outer ring. We have everything cut and set to wear. Yes, family. Yeah, and I also have this camouflage beanie that I sewed maybe about 2 weeks ago. He has matching mask. Matching mask is somewhere around here. Yeah, man. So this hat, you can wear it. You know, it's a winter hat. It's double for insulation, so it can keep your head nice and warm. You can wear it reggae style. You know, you can wear it reggae style, cover the ears, and you have a little. Then if you have extra ear, you know, which can even keep it up high, depends on, you know, how you wear it. Or you can roll it. You can roll it once. For more insulation. Or you can go twice. And wear it as a regular beanie. You know, and with the matching mask, you get the thing nice and popping. Alright, also I have the camouflage male hospital or you know, it doesn't matter if you or anywhere, you can wear this scrub hat. It's not completed yet. I have to put the buttons on it. So the button's gonna be here. So just like the female, the male can also put the elastic for the mask around the button instead of putting it around the ears. So it keep you where your ears don't get irritated very fast. Again, this is a large for a male. Alright, and that's cut from this fabric. Alright, I'm gonna do another video on how to make this scrub hat. Okay? Yeah man, stay tuned, don't go nowhere. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Maggie. Yeah, so we're gonna move to the sewing machine right now and start sewing this hat. Alright. So what we do, we keep this on the right side. Keep this on the right side. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to bend it to the middle. We're going to fold it. So this is the side. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep this on the display side. Alright, and we're going to fold it to the middle. Alright, so we measure for 11 and a half. 11 and 3/4. That's not bad. Alright, so then we're going to open the pin. Open the pin. And then we're just going to tuck it inside. After we tuck, we measure again. Make sure that we have a perfect 11 and a half. Then we're going to pin in this direction for the stitch. Pin in this direction for the stitch. And after we stitch, we double check it. 11 and a half. Alright? And that's our rib. You can always trim off if you have like excess along where it's not lining up. You can always trim it off just like that. So now everything is together and everything is good. So now everything is together and everything is set, so we're gonna move now to the sewing machine. We're gonna move everything over to the sewing machine and we're gonna start putting things together. Alright, again, Morgan, if you didn't like, share, or subscribe to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and share the channel with a friend, because this is where we're gonna be doing a lot of great things, from cooking to on-demand service to fixing how to fix things around the home. We're gonna be doing a lot of things. This is where you're gonna come to learn everything. This is a straight up home economic channel. You're gonna learn to cook, you're gonna learn to sew, you're gonna learn to bake, you're gonna learn to fix AC, you're gonna learn to fix stove. Whatever is broken, I'm gonna drag you guys into it and we're gonna fix it. Alright? Please remember, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Yeah. I don't have to change thread because I was using the same black thread. Make sure your threads match. So the first thing I'm going to stitch, tap on side, and like I said, 1/2 inch, and we just stitch straight around. Be careful with the pins because you don't want to break a needle. And you don't want to get pins in your finger either. So be careful with the pins. Whenever you hear that sound, it's a broken thread. Yeah. You see? So it's nothing mechanically wrong with the machine, it just happened. Sometimes you have that glitch in the system. For the side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double stitch. Alright, start from the bottom. Reverse. And come all the way up the top. The top I don't really reverse because it's going to be stitched into the it's going to be stitched into the side anyway. Alright, I do a pressure foot length away from the edge, and I go ahead and try to keep it as straight as possible with the edge, so you have a beautiful stitch. And that's for the side. While I'm here, I get the mask, stitch along the line, stitch along the line, then stitch along the line, so now we have everything all stitched up. We got the side and the top. We're going to remove the pins. Let's remove all the pins, because you don't want to have any pin that when you stitch everything together, there's a pin that is stitched in a position where you cannot remove it. So you remove all the pins from it. And what I normally do is when I remove, if I feel like I just rub my hand around it and see if I feel any pin anywhere. Alright, same thing with the side. We have 2 pins, remove those. The mask, remove pin, remove pin. The mask, what we want to do is cut off the allowance from the stitch line. And this is why I leave these edges. I don't take these edges off until after I finish stitching. It's like it leave me a guide of where I'm stitching. Right, remove the pin. Mask together. Brim. What we do is we just flip the brim inside out at this point. Alright, and once you flip the brim inside out, this is going to be the underside, this is going to be the outside. Okay, so what we do is we pull it together as tight as we can and pin again, as tight as we can, pin again, tight and pin, tight and pin. So we get our brim. Right? And from here on out, what we do is trim it. We try to keep the fabric as neat as we can, so when we're ready to do our serging, it's nice and good. Like, you know, I don't have a serger, so I need it to be as good as and close together as possible, so that when I'm doing my basing, you know, it's nice and neat. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch along this twice, the brim. The edge, give you 1 stitch, and then you have a second stitch, like a pressure foot length away from the edge. Our next move is to remove the pins from the brim. Make sure all pins are out. This is our rim, so what we're going to do is, when we stitch that double stitch, it's going to be the dead back. Alright, so we're going to hold it, and we're going to hold it, and we're gonna make a mark. So we know where our center is. This is our center. Alright? Same thing with the brim. You fold it, and you know where your center is, and you mark it on the inside. So you have the mark. So the mark for dead center is gonna mate with the mark for the front. And you want your brim to be, the center of your brim to be setting right on the edge of the side. You don't want it to go over because you want it to be nice and neat. Because like I say, it's a Mac brim, so you don't want it to be over. So you pin, you move along, and you pin. Move along, and you pin. You move along, and you make a final pin at the edge. Do the same thing towards the other side. Pin. So once you got everything pinned together, you can cut to keep things neat. You can cut to keep things neat. Alright? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our brim and our hat together. Two ways you can do it. You can make all these stitches along the brim via the first stitch, second stitch, straight across the side, or you can stitch it together with the brim one time. But I'm gonna make a third stitch that is gonna put my brim on the top of the mat, on the top of the side. Okay, so the third stitch will bring the brim in on the hat. So this will be the look from the brim on the hat. So now we got our side and brim, and we also have our okay, so we're gonna flip our hat on the outside like this. So we're gonna tack the side and the brim to the lower side of the hat. Tack it all around. Get it ready for stitching. So we have the mask all stitched together, and we pin it now. So we're gonna do the top stitch. That will give it the complete form, and then we'll fold this in, fold it in, and then we'll just add our elastic. The hat is all together, the brim. So we're gonna stitch and serge, and then serge, and then the hat will be complete. The only thing we left to do with the hat now is the top stitch straight across and around, and then we add the two buttons to it, and then the hat will be. You can see the mask can be reversible, so I mean you can wear it on this side, or you can flip it out and wear it on this side. So that's why we have it where these ends gonna be tucked in and tucked in, and then we're gonna use black elastic. So we're gonna cut 9 inches on the elastic. So we're gonna cut 9 inches of elastic. Cut.
We're living in a world of wonders and signs. Put a smile on your face, without the line. Respect what I see, some only find a guy. Man, let's take it through the world, but you should take your time.
So this is gonna be our elastic. Alright. I have assorted of buttons. So what I'm going to do is just find two that pretty much match as close as possible, because this is assorted and decorated buttons. So what I do is I find two that match as close as possible. Don't go crazy searching. Just find two buttons that match as close as possible. That's pretty much saying the same thing. This one is a little bit too big. This one is a too older. And too older, a little bit too big. 4 old. So we're gonna use these two. Alright? So we always have to find a button that's pretty much, close enough to work on our project. Now we're going to take it back to the sewing machine. Top stitch on the mask. So we have the top stitch on the mask. As you can see already, the mask already taken shape, and the mask is ready for the straps. We're gonna go straight around and with the hat, I like to start stitching right on the edge of the brim, so that when I come back around, I'm right at the edge of the brim. And again, we're doing the edge of the foot, pressure foot is going to be the edge of the fabric. And we're just going to stitch all the way around. And you check, you make sure that your hat, the rest of your hat is not coming in the way and get stitched together. So just keep pressing all the way around. Reverse. Firm. Alright, that's it for the inner part. So now that we have the hand stitched together and the mask, outer edge stitched together, we're going to take out our pins. And again, we're going to check to make sure that we remove all pins. Alright, all pins are out. Then we're gonna fold the inside of the hand, the edge of the mask. We're gonna fold the edge of the mask in, fold it in, and then we're gonna pin. Now sit it, lay down. What I do, I normally mark it So I have a mark. So I know this is gonna be where my folded edge is gonna be into. Fold. And pin. Alright. And then there go my mask. Nice and even to the seam. Then I'm gonna stick my strap and pin. Stick my strap and pin. And I'm gonna do the same thing for the next side. I'm gonna do the same thing for the next side. Pin and pin. Then in and pin. Alright, I lay it down flat and make sure that you have equal length of elastic on each side. Now the reason why I use a longer elastic is because this is not going to stop at the ears, it's going to go beyond the ears to the button, so you need more space on the elastic. So now you got these pinned together, you just leave them aside. Remove the pin from the hat, just the same. Take your time, don't rush the process, because you want to make sure that you remove all pin from the hat, because you don't want to give this hat to someone and next thing you know there's a pin left in there and that person got injured from the pin. Alright, so all pins out. Now we're going to go back to the sewing machine. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do all my straight stitches, and then after I do my straight stitches I'm going to switch to zigzag and get my edges. And then we'll come back and we'll just put the 2 buttons on and the project is finished. Alright, now so we're going to complete our stitching of the mask. I'm going to back stitch a little bit. And just for cosmetic aesthetic, what we do is we give it a double stitch. And this also helps where your string will not pull your mask and make your mask look like it's falling forward on the side. You keep it level at all times. Back stitch just to make it don't wrap it out. And you do the same thing on the other side. One press of foot width, and you just stitch it all the way out. Back stitch. So that's the mask. Mask is finished. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch to zigzag and right on the edge.
back stitch a little bit so the thread don't ravel out. Then we go to the top on the side and we do the same thing. You make sure you pay attention to your bobbin thread, because we've been stitching for a while, you know, so pay attention to your bobbin thread so that way you don't stitch all the way around, and then when you stitch all the way around you found out that you run out of thread and you have to make a stitch. Look at your fabric on the side, make sure it's staying flat, and no part that you don't want stitched into it is not being stitched into it. Alright, so we got the double stitch. Now what we're gonna go for is the flat stitch on the edge. So we move up to straight stitch. Our hat. That's our hat. Serge it up. So at this time we just do a little housekeeping. Flip up and make sure there's no ravel, no thread hanging over, and everything is nice and neat. Wherever your sew and stop, you make sure that you cut that thread off. You have no thread hanging. Okay, so there you got it. Hat. All trimmed up. And the mask.
So there you have it. Hat and the mask.
Find out the spirit of contention. Find the spirit of hunger in this mad Christian. Cause I'm a Christian. Mad Christian. When you give all you got and spread yourself thin. When man stab your back.
Straps can go in the button instead of going behind the ears. Margaret. There you go. You can see it from the beginning.
To the pearly gate before that lock. All my try. Me nah look back, I wanna make it to the pearly gate before that lock. Right on me mouth, me foot on me hand. Me nah make it a them. The life that you live it speaks for you, speaks for you, speaks for you. The life that you live it speaks for you. Be careful what you say and do. The life that you live it speaks for you, speaks for you. Speaks for you, the life that you live it speaks for you. Be careful what you say and do. We're living in a world of wonders and signs. Put a smile on your face, pick out the line. Respect what I see, some couldn't find a dime. Man has taken through the